Hello Year 3s and welcome to your next flipped classroom video. In the previous week we have been looking at the different types of rocks, and particularly we have been looking at how the different rocks are formed. So we looked at three main types of rocks. So before we have another look at those, let's just have a better understanding of the world and how that relates to how the rocks are formed. So there are different layers that make up the earth, and a layer of rock is under every town and city, under fields and forests, even under the sea. And this layer of rock is called the earth's crust. Below the crust is the mantle, and this is made of rock that is so hot that it is melted. We call this molten rock or magma, and it is thick and runny like syrup. Below the mantle is the earth's core, which is even hotter. So we previously discussed, there are three types of rock. We have igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. And we learned how these three rocks are formed. So igneous rock is the first one. Sometimes magma comes to the surface when a volcano erupts, and as this magma that's come to the surface cools, it forms a rock. Sometimes magma cools to make rock just below the surface as well, and rock that forms from magma often contains crystals. So we call this kind of rock igneous rock. Sedimentary rock, a lot of you have referred to it as the one that's under the water. And the reason for this is the following. Another type of rock that is made when tiny bits of rock and soil, as well as bodies of dead creatures, settle at the bottom of the sea to form a layer of sediment. And over millions of years, more and more layers of sediment settle on top and squash it down to form or to turn into rock. So sedimentary rocks often have those layers because it's a layer upon layer upon layer of sediment squashing down to form a rock. And the final type of rock that we looked at was metamorphic rock. So there's more than one type of natural rock that is made by extreme heat and pressure inside of the earth. And this massive heat and pressure can change igneous and sedimentary rocks into a new type of rock. And this type of rock is what we call metamorphic rock. So the metamorphic rock is formed when igneous and sedimentary rocks are under a lot of pressure and they're heated up from the magma, and they form metamorphic rocks. So those are the three types of rock that we looked at, and the way in which each one is formed.